Hi guys, Radical Dreamer here, and welcome to the Postal Code Unknown podcast for Saturday, August 5th of 2017. I've got a little bit of a shorter episode today because I'm working on a few things for a longer episode in the next days to come. You may have seen some of that if you've been following the Facebook or the YouTube page. But for today, what I'd like to do is sort of share my experiences in the Northern Territory of Australia as an outsider, not knowing to do when you see a crocodile. So, fortunately, I never got in any run-ins with a saltwater crocodile that was close enough to cause any damage. I did see some on the Yellow River in Kakadu National Park, but never really got to a point where I actually saw them. Now, again, it's hard to say because when you travel to different places, people have a very specific set of things that they'll learn as they grow up or sort of as things are passed on. So, for example, sort of in Northern California where I grew up, there's a lot of mountain lions. And when I talk to people that don't know what to do in a situation where a mountain lion or a bear is there, they freak out. Just like I freaked out when I didn't really know what to do when approached or in a situation when faced with a crocodile. And as I understand it, if you're perpendicular to them, you don't want to be or you're better off because they have trouble turning. If you're in the water, you're screwed. And essentially, you just want to stay away from them. So learning to be careful around the water at pretty much any sort of like near sea region, like in the northern areas of Australia. I learned over time, basically, you don't want to be near the seawater at night, or in any case where they're breeding. And that was something that I just really was outside of my realm of experience. It was really kind of crazy. So when I was traveling through the Northern Territory, we stopped in a few places. We stopped in Katherine. We stopped in Darwin, we stopped in Kakadu and Litchfield National Parks, and those were all really cool experiences for a number of reasons. One, it was sort of exciting in a way to sort of explore being careful in different ways, or sort of learning how to interact with the environment properly and sort of learning from the people that live there what best practices that they have in order to stay out. And one of my favorite experiences was going to Edith Falls and swimming there, but finding once we had gotten there that the lower falls were closed because they still weren't able to tell whether or not the crocodiles had left. And that's just a crazy thing for me, which is really cool. But so today's item, again, is a crocodile. This is Chompy. I'm actually going to be, I brought this all the way back to give to a friend of mine. I know it's a little magnet kind of thing, but I told him that the crocodile that I found I was going to bring back for him, and that's about the best I can do. So going forward, it's interesting to sort of see how different places have precautions for animals and wildlife, and that was an eye-opening and interesting experience. I guess the only other thing that I'd like to mention during today's episode that was also surprising, not just the swimming hole in Edith Falls, there's also some hot pools that are in Katherine that were really quite nice. But there's a night market in Darwin that I think was one of the most exciting things that I did in the area by far. And a lot of people sort of really like these. There's a lot of cool things that you can do in Kakadu. I loved it as a national park. But that night market was something else, and it really reminded me of experiences that I had in Southeast Asia with a flair of its own. So if you're spending time in the Northern Territory and you're thinking mostly about doing the outdoor experiences, which I can come back and talk to you guys again at another point in time. But Darwin, the city itself, those sunset markets, sort of along the waterfront, where they've got food stalls and different products and sort of, I just love that kind of night market, and I love seeing that kind of thing. And it's something that I don't see as much in the United States, or at least in the places that I've been and lived in. And I think that they're just such a cool thing that I wish were more prevalent in other places in the world. And I guess it really just depends on whether or not there's a market for that or there's trade for that. But I loved it. And there was this guy there that was playing like 5 didgeridoos at the same time, and it was really crazy and cool. So, I hope you enjoyed today's episode, and I will talk to you guys again tomorrow. Thank you. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you'd like to see more of what I've been doing outside of these videos, you can see more at theradicaldreamer.com, where I've got articles and photographs with travel advice and stories that aren't just in a video format. You can follow me on Twitter at @OneRadicalDreamer or on Instagram at @aradicaldreamer if that's something that you're more interested in. If you're interested in supporting me, I do have a Patreon page up as well, which you can find at patreon.com/theradicaldreamer. And that's a way for as little as $1 a month you can help support me get better equipment and do more videos of this type and make a whole bunch more cool stuff to share with you in the future. And last but not least, if you like what you've been seeing on YouTube, please like, subscribe, and send a couple comments. I'd be happy to answer more questions in future episodes of the podcast. Hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you. Take care.